Against the leadership of Greater Equatoria. Welcome to SSTV News. My name is Tex Stephen, and now the news in details. South Sudan President General Salva Kiir Mayardit is in capital of Rwanda, Kigali, leading a high-level delegation from the country to participate in Northern Corridor Integration Project Summit. President Kiir met with the Ethiopian Ethiopian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Tedros Adhanom, and discussed bilateral relations between South Sudan and Ethiopia. According to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Barnaba Marial Benjamin, the Northern Corridor Integration Project Summit is important for the young nation.
Elders and all that, so that within 60 days we reach a peace agreement, and then this peace agreement will now make it possible for President Salva Kiir Mayardit to form an all-inclusive government of national unity to implement the peace process that is agreed upon. But with the delay and the obstruction by the rebels now, we are not ready to continue in order to reach a peace agreement.
Vice President James Wani Iga says the current economic activities and oil production in South Sudan is the biggest assistance from the government and the People's Republic of China.
In his meeting with the Chinese Minister for Commerce, Mr. Gao Hunchen, on Wednesday in Beijing, the delegation of the SPLM is holding a series of meetings with the Chinese government to brief them on the government position on realization of peace in the country through dialogue. The Chinese Minister for Commerce expressed willingness to promote economic development in South Sudan. Vice President James Waniga briefed African ambassadors in Beijing on the political situation in South Sudan. IGAD says the government of South Sudan is fully committed for peace and reconciliation in the country, adding that the government has started a process of national dialogue in Uganda, among other countries neighboring South Sudan.
We have committed ourselves to finding a peaceful solution to this conflict of the earth. This is why our regional brothers and sisters in the Horn of Africa, in the area, when they asked us to sit down, in the first week, we assembled very quickly. They gave us 4 conditions as a government, and also the rebels.
The representatives of the African ambassadors in Beijing says African countries recognize the support rendered to African countries by the Chinese government.
And also more success back home in continuing the reconciliation and peace among ourselves. I may say one word that we have suffered as my country. Our brothers know.
They also called for peace and reconciliation in South Sudan to help the new nation develop its economy. James Arusatanga, SSTV.
Tsinghua University in China pledges to offer scholarship to South Sudanese students through the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology. This came during lectures by Vice President James Wani Iga to students at Tsinghua University on Wednesday in Beijing, China. Henry Jada has more on that story.
Vice President James Wani Iga briefed students of Tsinghua University on the history of South Sudan's struggle and future perspective of the country. The lectures by the deputy chairman of the SPLM party is to assist Tsinghua students to know about the current crisis in South Sudan. Tsinghua University is the leading university in China, and over 40,000 students are attending lectures at Tsinghua University.
In South Sudan, why did after that first war, why did the second war come about? The SPLM war. It came about because of a lot of injustices. From Khartoum, there was a lot of marginalization. A lot of marginalization. You will find that South Sudan, until we signed the CPA, the Comprehensive Peace Agreement, in 2005, South Sudan did not even have a single asphalt road.
Wani Iga told administration of Tsinghua University to remain open and welcome students from South Sudan.
Our government in South Sudan is ready to cooperate with your university, and this message we give a very strong message through our Minister of Education who came to visit you. I believe a lot of details, this is just the beginning, a lot of details will be worked out through our technocrats in the Ministry of Education, and here we are committed to cooperating with you and to see that the university here succeeds, because your success is the success of the entire country, China, and also of South Sudan.
90% of the people of South Sudan are not educated due to a long civil war between North and South. South Sudan, as the youngest nation in the world, have many opportunities from the foreign countries like China. Tsinghua University in Beijing are willing to offer a scholarship to South Sudanese students in Beijing. For SSTV News, I am Henry Jarajo reporting in Tsinghua University, Beijing.
The National Legislative Assembly Business Committee, under the chairmanship of Speaker Manas Mogok Rundial, on Thursday briefed the new members of the Assembly on a specialized committee on their new assignment for smooth running of work. He urged the specialized committee to double their effort in order to render required service delivery to the public and capacity building. The Minister of Cabinet Affairs, Dr. Martin Ilia Lomoro, met with Hilda Johnson, the Special Representative of Secretary General in South Sudan, in presence of the Ministers of Justice, Interior, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs. The meeting discussed the importance of establishing coordination and cooperation mechanism between UNMISS and South Sudan. I beg your pardon.
The Minister for Cabinet Affairs, Dr. Martin Ilia Lumoro, met with Hilda Johnson, the Special Representative of the Secretary General in South Sudan, in presence of the Ministers for Justice, Interior, and Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs. The meeting discussed the importance of establishing coordination and cooperation mechanism between UNMISS and South Sudan government, as the current Special Representative of the Secretary General is leaving the country soon.
We have discussed the importance of establishing coordination mechanisms again with the government. As I am departing as special representative, we want to avoid any gap, making sure that there's proper coordination following.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Peter Bashir, on behalf of the government, appreciates the work of Mrs. Hilda Johnson since the comprehensive peace agreement journey until the eruption of last year's December crisis.
But I want to assure her that she will remain part and parcel of South Sudan because you have a share and a stake in South Sudan. We want to appreciate all the efforts that you had exerted in serving our people during the difficult times of the struggle, even after.
For SSTV News, Diakwe Paul Machoe.
The Ministry of Interior and Wildlife Conservation, in collaboration with HIV and AIDS Commission and UNAIDS, have endorsed a strategic plan for HIV and AIDS Secretariat in the ministry on Thursday. The plan was initiated in a one-day workshop attended by the Minister of Interior and Wildlife Conservation, Aleu Ayenya Leu, the chairperson of HIV and AIDS Commission, Dr. Estorina Novello, UNAIDS Country Director, Dr. Medine Seishiu, as well as the top government officials. Speaking to SSTV, Minister Aleu appreciates the effort made by HIV and AIDS Commission alongside UNAIDS for validating strategic plans in the country.
In an apparent understanding, HIV and AIDS has no frontiers in regards to human profession. Therefore, the strategic plan validated by the Ministry of Interior and Wildlife Conservation alongside HIV and AIDS Commission recognizes the role that the security sector can play in scaling up response towards the spread of the pestilence. The Commission is driven by the fact that HIV can have a uniquely devastating impact on all sectors and levels of society, especially in conflict and post-conflict situations, citing the concerted efforts by all stakeholders to curb vertical transmission of the disease.
Fighting HIV is very, very important. One of the enemies we must fight all. Because this disease, HIV is beautiful. Looks for beautiful people. If you are beautiful, be careful, or handsome.
The chairlady for HIV and AIDS Commission, Dr. Estarina Nofello, says it is paramount to establish HIV Secretariat in every ministry and other relevant institutions to increase the response to the disease.
We know very well that HIV does not respect anybody. And as such, also from the studies done in this country, it was found that the HIV prevalence among the uniformed service is overriding the general population.
In the same way, the country's director for UNAIDS, Dr. Medin Sehai, says she is optimistic that the HIV Secretariat in the ministry shall involve the 4 units of organized forces to address HIV as well as matters pertaining human rights in relation to the disease.
The purpose is in the organized forces, there was no functional HIV secretariat that caters for providing services of HIV to the uniformed services and their families. And the recent studies also show that the HIV new infections are coming among the uniformed services in addition to other most at-risk population.
According to the latest survey, HIV prevalence is said to be high among the organized forces, which has prompted the intervention from the Commission and the developmental agencies. For SSTV News, Ediri Stephen.
National Minister of National Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Agritisa Sabuni, on Thursday met with a team from World Bank to help World Bank, led by the World Bank Country Director, Bella Butt, in Juba. The meeting discussed South Sudan-World Bank collaboration and projects following current crisis in the country, particularly in Juba.
Agritisa Sabuni on Thursday met with a team from the World Bank led by the World Bank Country Director, Bella Butt, in Juba. The meeting discussed South Sudan-World Bank collaboration and projects following current crisis in the country, particularly in Juba. Sabuni expressed gratitude for the return of World Bank back in South Sudan and presented World Bank projects being implemented and funded.
The World Bank has already come back, it's in full operation in Juba, and the country director is with us here to move forward the process of collaborating with the bank, and it is a very good news indeed that we are already moving forward. Yesterday in Parliament I presented some of the projects that they are already implementing and funding.
Meanwhile, the World Bank Country Director for South Sudan, Bella Butt, said they discussed World Bank collaboration in South Sudan and a number of projects in the areas of roads construction and health, among other developmental projects.
A number of projects coming forward, focusing on the well-being of the people of South Sudan in the area of safety nets, in the area of road construction, and in health as well. And we look forward to further collaboration to support the benefits for the people of South Sudan at the difficult time that is being faced in the country just now.
She added that World Bank is looking forward for collaboration to support for the benefit of the people of South Sudan at the difficult time. David Monodanga, SSTV.
Department of National Languages in the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology held a 7-day consultative workshop in Juba. In his opening remark, the Minister of Education, Science and Technology, Dr. John Gayo, says his ministry will train teachers to the national languages in the country. Dr. Guy said he invited the former ministers of education because they were the ones who initiated the Department for Local Languages, saying the workshop is preparation for conference on national languages due to take place in October.
We'll not be there. We'll be aware politically. We'll look after our health better. Even our relationship, despite our multiple ethnicities, if we are educated, we tolerate ourselves better.
Governor of Central Equatoria State, Kelemen Wani Konga, urges peace-loving South Sudanese to remain calm and united. Konga made the call during a news conference held in Juba on Thursday. He described rumors being circulated in social media as baseless and unfounded.
Kelemen Wani Konga on Thursday held a news conference in the State Secretariat meeting hall, refuting an allegation and rumors circulated in the social media against him as unfortunate, causing disunity among the people of South Sudan. He urges peace-loving South Sudanese to remain calm and united in order to face the challenges. Governor Wani pointed out that those circulating the allegation wanted to strengthen the incident of last December and also to show to the international community that the Equatorial government do not have allegiance for the legitimate government of South Sudan under the leadership of President Kiir. Governor Wani revealed out that federalism was started by Equatorians but not by the rebels of Riek Machar, adding that he will not accept federalism that is brought by bloodshed.
Riek Machar have not started speaking about federalism. It was the Equatorian people who started speaking about federalism. In all the 4 conferences, federalism was talked of, and the resolutions were handed over to the President of the Republic. The President of the Republic have not said to us, no, don't speak about federalism. If he told somebody, it might be one who is more close to him. But us, as governors of Equatoria, he never told us that no. And the resolutions are all with him. Why should we want a federalism that have shed blood for our brothers and sisters? I will not accept federalism that is brought through blood. I will not.
In a separate development, Governor Kelemen, who is also the state chairperson of the SPLA party, launched an official registration of the SPLM cadres under the theme Register Now. In his officiating remarks, Kelemen Wani urges all South Sudanese to remain united and avoid rumor-mongering against one another. Gore Anthony, SSTV News.
The SPLA headquarters briefed the public on security situation in general and the rebels' violation of ceasefire in the country. In a statement to SSTV, the SPLA spokesperson, Colonel Philip Aguer, disclosed that rebels of Riek Machar, led by Peter Gadet, continues to violate the ceasefire by attacking Mayenjur in Warab State, which resulted to death of 8 people. In regard to the security of Juba, the army spokesperson assures the public that security situation is good and under maximum control.
Brief the public on security situation in general and on the following specific security-related issues. One, as the rebel of Riek Machar continued to violate ceasefire, yesterday, the 2nd of July, forces under General Peter Gadet attacked Mayenjur in Gogrial East of Warab State. SPLA forces in the area managed to defeat the attackers and pursue them toward the border only in self-defense, meanwhile still committed to the ceasefire. The SPLA would like to assure the civil population that the security situation is under full control of the security organ, and our citizens should not listen to all the rumors that are being circulated from the circle related to the armed oppositions, and particularly the social media that has been in the last 5 days circulating all lies and wild rumors emanating from either Kampala, Khartoum, or Nairobi. And the SPLA assure the public that whatever you are getting from this media is nonsense. The Juba security is under firm control of armed forces. Again, assure the public that army is a neutral army, non-partisans, and those who have been speculating rumors that the security organs might target some people because of their opinion or their belief on federalism, this is rubbish. SPL respect all the views of our citizens, and we are a national army that should not be bogged down by any idea. We protect every citizen in South Sudan, regardless of her or his belief or his opinion.
The Greater Bahar al-Ghazal Student Union in Kampala on Thursday met with the press secretary in the office of the president, Ateng Wekateng, in Juba. Speaking to journalists on behalf of the students, the chairperson of the union, Joseph Achwil, says they support the participation of the president in the 23rd African Union Summit recently held in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea.
Attended by head of the states and government of IGAD that they need peace to exist in Africa and also in South Sudan as a country. And we also, our main aim also, why we have just come to meet the people of South Sudan is to condemn the information that was submitted on on Sudan Tribune on date 30th. This information says that one of the executive members, called Daniel Garangiel, says that we are asking the president to step down. It is not true. It is a very big lie.
The authority of Juba City Council has called on inhabitants of Juba City to cooperate and promote clean hygiene and situation in residential areas in the city. The call was echoed by the mayor of Juba City Council, Mr. Christopher Sarafino Wani, during his inspection visit to the status of general cleanliness of some areas in Juba.
احنا قلنا لهم ان احنا قمنا بالحملات والاغاثه الشعبيه شهر 3 وشهر 4 عملناها في كاتور عملناها في مونوكي وعملناه في محلة جوبا الكبرى انه يا مواطنين اشتركوا معنا وانتوا كنتوا اتفقتوا معنا انتوا هتشتركوا معنا عشان نقدر نخلي البلد بتاعنا تكون نظيف.
UNIMIS has raised concern over poor sanitation and inadequate clean drinking water in UNMIS IDP camps in Bentiu. The UNIMIS head of peace building, Derek Segar, says there are 6 suspected cholera cases and 1 death registered in Bentiu Unity State. UNMIS camp. He says the continuous steady streaming of people to the UNMIS camp has seen South Sudanese citizens sheltering in this camp lacking space to rest at night.
Very serious sanitary and health concerns. And these concerns are, of course, further exacerbated during the rainy season now, and we see that flooding and serious flooding is occurring in almost every single protection site around the country right now.
Well, that's all we had for you at this hour, but before we go, let's have a recap of our top stories today. President Kiir participated in Northern Corridor integration projects in Kigali. National Minister of Finance Agri Tisa discusses with World Bank funding of project in the country. State Governor Clement Wanikonga dismisses baseless and unfounded allegation against the leadership of the state. Thank you for tuning to SSTV. Continue watching for more programs coming your way. My name is Tex Steven, wishing you a good night.